Discussing about the India's first empire, it was the Mauryan Empire, and this Mauryan Empire ruled from Magadha. Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka are the important kings of this dynasty. This dynasty was established by Chandragupta Maurya. The name of Chandragupta Maurya was made eternal by recording it by Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador, in his book Indica. We are always remembering this dynasty, that is the Mauryan dynasty, because a person by name Megasthenes, he is a Greek ambassador. That means from Greek he had visited India, and he has made a note on the administration of this king in his book called Indica, and he has given more information about the great king Chandragupta Maurya. These books are all the reference sources. Though the source materials are less, the available sources provide valuable information on the Mauryas. These are all the books which is available for us to know more about that Mauryan dynasty. Though the materials are less, but still in that particular work there are so many information which make us to know about the dynasty of Mauryas. First, let us study about the reference source, the Megasthenes Indica. Megasthenes was in India as an ambassador of Greeks in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. This point we have already discussed. He has recorded his experiences at Pataliputra, Mauryan Empire, in his book Indica. Though the original book has remained untraced, that is, we are not able to get that book, later some Greek writers like Arrian, Strabo, Diodorus, and Pliny refer to it in their works. That is, about the Mauryan administration, more informations are provided by the Greek writers, but the best one is available only Indica. Indica reveals the city administration, social and religious life of the Mauryan period. This is another book, Kautilya's Arthashastra. Arthashastra is written by the teacher and the Prime Minister of Chandragupta Maurya. His name is Kautilya. He is also known as Chanakya or Vishnugupta. You can see him in this picture. Arthashastra is written in Sanskrit. It outlines the basic principles on administration, foreign affairs, and judicial duties that a king ought to know. This book is written in Sanskrit, and it gives all the basic information how the king should take care of his people, give the justice, dealing about foreign affairs, administration, etc. By reading this book, one can understand the politics, economy, and the administration, social, and other aspects of the Mauryan period. It provides a very detailed as well as a very valuable information. In this slide, you can come across other references also, like Mudra Rakshasa, which is a Sanskrit play written by Vishaka Datta. It narrates the process of Chandragupta Maurya being brought into the power by Kautilya. And the next one is Deepavamsha and Mahavamsha. These two are Sri Lankan literary works. They narrate the efforts of Ashoka to spread Buddhism in Sri Lanka. This slide shows the inscriptions of Ashoka, which are very authentic sources. Authentic means very genuine, real, original. Inscriptions are the authentic sources of information on Ashoka, and they also tell us about the boundaries of Ashoka's empire, his efforts to spread the Dhamma and details of Kalinga battle. Dhamma means his religious principle, that is, he was a follower of Buddha. So to spread the principles of Buddhism. So they tell us about the boundaries of Ashoka's empire, his efforts to spread the principles of Buddhism, and details of Kalinga battle. This slide is about Chandragupta Maurya, who founded the Mauryan Empire. He came to power by dethroning the last king of Nanda dynasty, and he did this under the guidance of his teacher Kautilya. He became the king at the age of 25. By this time, the northwest of India was ruled by the representative of Alexander. He is Seleucus Nicator, who was ruling till Punjab. In 305 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya declared war against Seleucus, and the battle ended in an agreement in a format. According to it, Seleucus handed over 4 territories that included today's Afghanistan and Balochistan to Chandragupta Maurya. Some agreement was done, and according to that, four territories were handed over, and it belongs to today's Afghanistan and Balochistan. Moreover, he married his daughter to him. With this, the Magadha Empire established a rule over a vast northwestern area. As per a Jain tradition, it is said that Chandragupta Maurya handed over his power to his son Bindusara. He also accepted Jainism religion in his last days, and he also went to Shravanbelagola in Karnataka along with his Jain sages Bhadrabahu and others. And finally, he undertook a vrata called as Salekana Vrata. That means not taking any food or water, fasting, and giving up his life to God, sacrificing himself to God by fasting. He took that vrata called as Salekana Vrata and passed away there itself. In this slide, we are going to study about Emperor Ashoka, who also belonged to this dynasty. He was a son of Bindusara and he was the governor of Ujjain and Takshashila during his father's period. He suppressed an uprising at Takshashila. Suppress means control. There was a problem, a revolt against the king. So at that particular time, he suppressed an uprising in Takshashila. After the death of his father Bindusara, it is said that Ashoka had to kill all his 99 brothers to assume the throne. That is, to come to power, he had to kill all his 99 brothers as per the Buddhist traditions. Probably there was an internal war among the brothers for about 4 years. It is assumed that Ashoka came to power in the year 269 BCE and he fought a war against Kalinga 8 years later. His famous war is the Kalinga War. This was the only war waged by him after becoming a king. This slide is entirely about the Kalinga War. Ashoka declared war on the Kalingas who refused to accept the rule of the Mauryan Empire in 261 BCE. Kalinga is a coastal area of Odisha. The 13th rock inscription of Ashoka provides more information on this battle. According to it, Ashoka declared this Kalinga war only 8 years after he became the king. In this battle, nearly 1,50,000 prisoners were taken and 1 lakh people died. 1 lakh people died. Many more became refugees. Refugees means homeless people. Though Kalinga was won by Ashoka, he was disturbed by the death and the pain of the battle. He saw so many people being dead on the battlefield and the pain the soldiers were suffering. So he decided not to wage war thereafter. He considered victory of religion is better than the victory in the battlefield. He went into repentance on seeing the devastations created by the war. On being inspired by Buddhism, he dedicated his remaining life to spread the message of peace towards Buddhism. Ashoka accepted Buddhism after the Kalinga battle. Looking at the pain and the suffering of the people, he accepted the Buddhism religion. He made donations to Buddhist monasteries and viharas. The meaning of monasteries is that where the monks live, Buddhist monks live. Viharas, it is like a Buddhist temple. He prohibited the killing of animals and birds in his kingdom, and he also declared that all his citizens are his children. He also declared that all should be loyal to their parents and also respect their elders and gurus. He wanted people to show compassion to power, that is, show kindness to the poor and slaves too. His saying was, live and let live. He appointed officers named Dharma Mahamatra to preach the principles of Buddhism. He installed inscriptions all across the kingdom to preach the message of Buddhism. Preachers were sent to other countries as well to spread the message of Buddhism. A person named Rakshita was sent to Banavasi and another person by name Mahadeva was sent to Mysuru, that is Mahisha Mandala. He also sent his son Rahula and daughter Sangamitra to Sri Lanka, our neighboring country. In 250 BCE, he organized the third Buddhist conference at Pataliputra. Now let's learn about the Ashoka's inscriptions. Ashoka is called as the father of inscriptions. Till today, his inscriptions are the first inscriptions to be read. And in 1837 CE, a British officer by named James Prinsep deciphered, that is, he was able to read Ashoka's inscriptions for the first time. In all the inscriptions, instead of his name, his titles were used, which is called as Devanam Priya or Priyadarshi were used. Charles Bedon, a British engineer, read an inscription at Musky of Raichur in 1915 CE. In this inscription, Devanam Priya Priyadarshi Ashoka reference appears for the first time. Here when you see, all the three names are put together, but in the previous slide when you see, it is Devanam Priya or Priyadarshi. But all the three are one and the same, which refers only to Ashoka. Based on this, it was decided that Devanam Priya and Priyadarshi are the same, and later on in other inscriptions the name Ashoka appears. Now let us study about the economic system during the Mauryan period. There are evidences which shows that lakes and canal system of irrigation was available during the Mauryan period only. Pushyagupta, a governor during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya, had built Sudarshana Sarovar, a dam in Junagadh of Gujarat. The name of the dam is Sudarshan Sarovar, and the person who built it was Pushyagupta. An officer named Tushaspa during the reign of Ashoka built the canal system for this dam. Megasthenes has also recorded the existence of irrigation canals in his book. The government was managing the agricultural sector, and the prisoners of war and slaves were engaged in agricultural activities. Prisoners of war means when the king goes attacks a neighboring country, when he brings the prisoners and slaves, then they have to work in their agricultural fields. Land tax was the main source of revenue to the state, and the farmer was expected to pay 1/4 of his income as tax to the state. 1/4 of his income. And there were officers named Samaharta and Sanidatta who were in charge of the tax collection, and they were also the custodians of the royal treasury. That is, they have to keep the money safe in the royal treasury. Those officers were called as Samaharta and Sanidatta. The technology of producing metal alloys had evolved during the reign of Mauryas, like how we have now metallic coins. That technology was present in those days only. As a result, urban-based artifacts production and their marketing also found a place in the economy of Mauryas along with agriculture. There were major roads connecting the different parts of the empire from Pataliputra, which is the capital city of Maurya. So we come to know that the capital city of Maurya is Pataliputra, and from there many roads were connected. A major road to Nepal passing through Vaishali and Champaranya from Pataliputra was also there. A highway to Takshashila from Kaushambi passing through the present Delhi and Punjab were also there. So we come to know that there was a good network of road system also. Merchants were transporting goods on these roads to sell within and outside the empire. Kachu marked silver coins were in circulation in the Mauryan kingdom. The silver coins were termed as Kachu. This period is marked as the second phase of urbanization. Next, we are going to study about the social system of the Mauryan period. The social system was evolving out of the Varna-based caste system. Varna-based means based on the four departments, that is Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. And during this period, people born in higher Varna could migrate to another Varna and gain better social acceptance and respect. That is, they can change their Varna. There were few such openings for this mobility. Few chances were provided. Brahmana and Kshatriya could interchange their status. Though the society was divided into four Varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, several other castes were also present. Megasthenes, records the presence of 7 castes in Mauryan society in his Indica. Indica is the name of the book written by Megasthenes. In that book, he has written that there were 7 castes which were present during the Mauryan society, and the Buddhist sources also confirm the existence of caste. Though these castes were less rigid than in later periods, caste system had started assuming rigidity during Mauryan period itself. Caste system in the initial stages it was not that strict, but later on it became rigid. Indica, that is the name of the book written by Megasthenes. Indica does not record the existence of slaves and dasas in the Mauryan society. Dasas, they are the another group of people who are quite devotional. Though slavery was in practice during the Mauryan period, it was less harsh than the slavery of Greek and Roman societies. Slaves were treated very badly in the Greek and Roman societies. But in the Mauryan period, it was not like that. Shudras, the last in the Varna system, were employed as agricultural laborers, and they were also working as domestic help. This slide is about the administrative system of the Mauryas. Mauryan Empire had centralized administration system. The power was concentrated in the hands of the king. Hence, a huge number of officials unseen before were appointed to run the administration because the king was under the direct supervision of his people. Hence, a huge number of officials were appointed to take care and run the administration. And there was also a strong espionage network. Espionage means spies. Unknown people were appointed to check what is running in the kingdom, and this is majority carried forward for political and military information. Minister, priest, prince, and generals were the higher subordinates of the king. Next to the king, these people, the ministers, priest, prince, and generals, were the subordinates to the king. The empire was divided into provinces, and these provinces were ruled either by the princes or the relatives of the king's family only. Takshashila, Ujjain, Dhauli, Suvarnagiri, and Girnar were the regional administrative centers. Officials like Rujuka, known for his justice officer, Yukta, known for information recording officer, and others were also there. And the administration of Pataliputra was done by a group of 6 committees. That is, the administration was carried on by a group of 6 committees which included 30 officials. The contribution of Mauryas to art and architecture is of great significance. In the book of Megasthenes, that is Indica, it records the beauty, grandeur of Mauryas' palace in Pataliputra. The wooden ruins of the palace and the fort around the palace in Pataliputra have been found during the excavation. During the period of Ashoka, many stupas were built and pillars were erected. Among all the stupas that are found, the stupa of Sanchi is the biggest, Sanchi stupa. Around 30 pillars have been found and all of them are polished and made smooth. The images of lion or ox are sculptured on these pillars. Our national emblem of four-headed lion is taken from the Ashoka's pillar of Sarnath. Apart from these, Ashoka built 3 rock-cut caves at Barbar Hill. His son Dasharatha built 3 more rock-cut caves at Nagaruni Hills. Barbar Hill, it is in Bihar, and the Nagaruni Hills is in Himachal Pradesh. These caves are also important creations of the Mauryan period. This slide starts with the Kushan dynasty. After the Greeks, it has been the Kushans who have influenced Indian history and culture, and they gave special importance to the spread of Buddhism. The Mahayana sect received greater encouragement under this patronage. This is one group in Buddhism called as Mahayana. Gandhara sculpture flourished during their time. Gandhara sculpture means the Buddhist style of architecture flourished during this period. An important dynasty after the Mauryans is that of the Kushans. They were basically from a nomadic tribe which had migrated to India from Central Asia. These people had come to India from Central Asia, and they were the progeny of Yuchi. Progeny means the descendants of a community of people called as Yuchi. The Sakas and the Parthians were the other foreign communities that had settled in the northwestern part of India. Another two groups were the Sakas and the Parthians. The Kushans defeated the Sakas and the Parthians and settled in the Gandhara region. The founder of this Kushan dynasty was Kujala Cadphises. Vima Cadphises and Kanishka are the noteworthy kings of this dynasty. Two great kings of this dynasty were Vima Cadphises and Kanishka. The Yuchis were basically tribals. The Yuchi factions became united under the leadership of Kujala Cadphises. He crossed the Hindu Kush range and settled in Kabul and Kashmir. During the time of Vima Cadphises, gold coins were brought into circulation, and from then onwards the Kushans started to mint gold and copper coins. Kanishka came after Vima Cadphises. During his period, the Kushan dynasty expanded very greatly and he established his rule in 78 CE, and thereafter he started a new era, and this era is known as the Saka era. Kanishka's rule had spread up to Sanchi in the south and Banaras in the east, and his kingdom included Central Asia too, and it became a very vast empire. Purushapura was his capital. Remember, the capital of the Kushans, that is especially of Kanishka's, was Purushapura. Mathura was another significant town of his time. Due to the patronage given by Kanishka, Buddhism could prosper much more than before, and we get to see many Buddhist scholars like Ashwagosha, Vasumitra, Sangaraksha, and others during his period. The fourth Buddhist conference was held at Kashmir under the leadership of Kanishka. This is a very important line to be noted. The fourth Buddhist conference was held at Kashmir under the leadership of Kanishka. Like Ashoka, even Kanishka also sent missionaries to Central Asia and China to spread Buddhism. During his period, art and architecture also got encouragement.